off the top of my vet's head kind of thing when I asked her what are 3 of the most common issues that parrots have, so that hopefully you can avoid it and you can increase the health and well-being of your best feathered friend who's leaving me, to try to have a more blissful bond with your parrot. Hey guys, I'm Kaylin, the author of the Parrot Bliss Bond and the new book, Get to Know African Gray Cape and Cape Parrots. My mission is to help increase your bond, reducing the needs for rescues, and in this case, hopefully reducing health issues, so that you can have a more blissful bond with your best feathered friend. If you're used to hanging out, thank you for being here. I love my fans and my YouTube members almost as much as I love my parrot, which is flying away because there's these wild ducks back there. Let's start talking about the 4 most common reasons that people take their parrot to the vet. The first most common reason that people have problems with their parrot gets sick, is due to malnutrition. Now, my avian vet did say, and by the way, my avian vet, Dr. Club, is awesome. I'm putting a link down below to her website. She's just awesome. If you are in Florida, you may think it's worth your drive, a lot of people do, to go see her, even if she's not your closest vet. So she said malnutrition, but she did say that what happens with malnutrition is she'll get 30-year-old birds coming in who have malnutrition. That tells me that malnutrition, it doesn't take effect overnight. Like, it's not like you're not giving your parrot a good diet and then 6 months later you see the results. I think that it adds up, and I bet it's really hard to reverse once it's been going on for a long time. So what's interesting though is people who are newer to parrots are doing a better job of giving their parrots a better diet, so that malnutrition is more common with people who, just to say it, like, just to give you a word, are kind of like old school. Like, the old belief was that you could just give parrots a seed diet, that kind of thing. Like, I don't know if that's the malnutrition, but that would be something that would lead to malnutrition. So make sure that your parrot's getting a good, healthy diet. I've done videos on diets. If you want me to do a new video on diet, let me know. Number 2, gut infections. Gut infections, and I'm like, how do you know your parrot has a gut infection? What are the symptoms? And she said weight loss, diarrhea. And I'm like, what causes this? Because that's, kind of scary. And she said an unclean environment. An unclean environment, that's like kind of a big umbrella. I've talked to my vet about that before, because it can be like a needle in a haystack. It can mean that you're not cleaning your cage often enough. That's possible. It can mean that even though you're giving your parrot clean water twice a day, your water is not clean, like the tap water is not clean. So you have to make sure that the source of water for your parrot's clean. If you hand wash your parrot's dish that you're putting fresh veggies in, you need to make sure that, like, they're really getting dry, disinfected kind of thing. Otherwise, like, that could be a source. If your parrot's flying around your house and, I don't know, or if they're in an aviary outdoors and they can get to the ground, they could get something that would make them sick. Like, the minute we go outdoors, there's all sorts of new microbes and other things that your parrot could be exposed to. So, to avoid gut infections, you want to make sure that maybe you're giving your parrot a good probiotic, and as best as possible, make sure that the parrot's water is clean, their cage is clean, that their dishes, like, really, I run mine through the dishwasher because the dishwasher disinfects. I don't do them by hand, so that they're clean. I only do them by hand when I need the dish for some emergency reason. Otherwise, I boil my water, let it come to room temperature, and I usually boil my water that I'm going to be using the next time. And that way I know that the water's clean. I know that it's not hot because it sat for, until the next time, at least 12 hours, usually 24, depending. And And I'm also pretty methodical about getting my parrots' cages cleaned. So there are some ideas for you. Hopefully that gets you thinking. Maybe it triggers something. Number 3, she said metal toxicity. I've only had that happen once. If you make a cage, oh my goodness, you have to make sure that you get galvanized or non-galvanized. I always forget. One has zinc on it. They put zinc on it to like make it shiny or something. I don't know. There are people who say that you can get the zinc off. I don't know. Honestly, I got rid of the cage. I was like, you know what? We're just not doing this. I'm just not. I had one time, one of my parrots had metal toxicity. The symptoms I saw, and the reason I took my parrot into the vet is because my parrot was like doing this kind of thing and getting like spittle on the sides of their cheeks, which was throw up. So fortunately, the vet recognized it right away, got us the medicine to like really increase motility, or I don't even know, and kind of try to flush it out of the system. Now, if you have a cage that is made for parrots, it's extremely likely, you know, all the standard cages, a king's cage for sure, but the A&E cages, I don't know what else. If they have a powder coat and they're wrought iron with a powder coat, then I don't believe you should have any problems. That means that your cage is probably fine, but next you want to make sure, number 1, that your bowls are stainless steel, and number 2, that whatever they're getting to in your house, if they're biting at something like with paint, that could have metal in it, like the lead. If they're, I don't know, if you have a parrot, you know they go everywhere and they bite everything. So you have to kind of like, instead of baby-proof your house, you have to parrot-proof your house to try to avoid that metal toxicity. If that isn't cotton time, it is a toxicity, which means it's toxic, which means I don't know if my guess is untreated, it means death. I don't know that for a fact. It seems awfully logical to me. I would assume that if my parrot was eating something metal, I would get them to the vet, and I did, because I would assume that that's going to really be bad. Number 4 is injury, some sort of trauma. Doctors use the word trauma. Trauma means that something happened. So, for example, if Blue, here, our Quaker, flew into the window and hurt himself, hurt his beak, hurt his wing, or whatever, that would be trauma. If Blue got in a fight with another bird, you know, that would be an injury, a trauma. So that's sort of interesting because, you know, like in some ways, your parrot's really safe when they're in their cage and they can't get to the metal and they can't fight and like run into the window kind of thing. But of course, that's not a life for a parrot. And it doesn't give them not only like any fun or adventure, which they are so adventurous, but it also doesn't give them any opportunity to have like any real exercise, in the sense that they might move from one side to the other in a cage, but unless it's an aviary, you know, it'd be great for them to be able to fly around your house and really get exercise. That's really more important, I think, than a lot of other things. You know, the ability to stretch their mind, fly around, go places, like have a new adventure, find things that they can have, you know, that kind of thing. Go to their play stand, have something new, something like that. That is going to really promote health and well-being and going to be really important. All right, there you have hopefully 4 things that you can look for that my vet sees very often. My vet's like a super vet because she's extremely knowledgeable. She told me that she's working on something that a really big animal project I think is really, really cool. And she's not just a parrot vet, she's an exotic vet. So she like kind of really knows animals and rattles off. We were going over some test results and rattling off these bacteria name and fungal names, and I'm like, how do you get the pronunciation down? How do you remember what these are? And it's her world. Like, I understand when you're medical and that's your profession, you know those words, and I'm just like, there's so many, it's incredible. But so I think she's a super vet and just really amazing. Check out information on her below. Then if you want some awesome parrot merch like my t-shirt, make sure to visit shop.parrotbliss.com. And if you want to look into my YouTube membership, go to parrotbliss.com and hit groups. If you have any questions or comments, please give me one of these. Comment below. Comments help my juice. And if you have any questions on today's video or anything else about your parrot, let me know and I will try to help you. Got a few videos I need to get done, but anyway, I'll try to help you out with your parrot to increase your blissful bond. I will see you in the next blue picking feathered video.